Alright, guys, today I'll be reviewing King's Dominion in Doswell, Virginia. This is a really good Cedar Fair park, probably the most underrated Cedar Fair park I've been to. Combine this with Busch Gardens Williamsburg, and honestly, you have the best 1-2 punch out of any state for amusement parks, even Ohio. So, in this review, I'll explain why King's Dominion's so good. So, you walk in. It's a normal entrance gate, normal parking lot, although it is pretty big. You come off of the highway, it's right next to it. So it's in a good location. But that entrance plaza, I mean, it's nothing special. Like the turnstiles are cool. The scenery's great, but the real showstopper is the Eiffel Tower. That always looks amazing. I think I even like it here more than Kings Island just because, I don't know, it feels a bit more secluded with all the trees. But that's not what you're here for. You're here for the rides. First up, you have Dominator, a really good B&M floorless coaster. In my opinion, second best layout out of any floorless coaster I've experienced, and my personal favorite floorless coaster I've experienced because Hydra is kind of a rattle trap now, but so Dominator's a really fun ride. You have a couple of kiddie coasters with Great Pumpkin Coaster and Woodstock Express. I didn't do those because I'm not a credit hog like that, but they look all right. They have a Wild Mouse. They have a couple of crappy wooden coasters with Grizzly and Racer. Racer, only one side was running. It was rough. Didn't really do too much. Eh. Um, Grizzly, on the other hand, I mean, it was a bit less rough, but it was still kind of boring, not gonna lie. I know a lot of people said, oh, it had like some hidden airtime. You gotta look for it. Like, yeah, I didn't find any of that, trust me. You have Backlot Stunt Coaster, a fine family coaster. Flight of Fear is a really fun ride. Toombealies and S&S 40 Free Spin. Those are always good fun. Reptilian, a bobsled coaster. Those are really underrated in my opinion. Now, you do have Anaconda, which is one of the worst coasters of all time in my top 10, maybe even top 5 least favorite coasters I've ever ridden, period, including kiddie coasters. That thing's just, what the hell happened? Like, the first half was all right, but rough. The second half just falls to bits. Like, I don't know. It's not good. Skip it. Um, but despite all that, not even having a coaster in my top 50 yet, this is still one of my favorite parks for roller coasters, period. And that is because of their 1-2 punch with Twisted Timbers and Intimidator 305. In my opinion, the best 1-2 punch of any park, period. Even better than Cedar Point, in my opinion. Twisted Timbers is easily the second best RMC I've done. Honestly, more comparable to Steel Vengeance than the other smaller ones. It's just nuts. And then Intimidator 305 is obviously my number one of all time. Just the intensity on that thing is stupid. Combine that with ridiculous speed, ridiculous laterals, ridiculous airtime. Like, this thing has great airtime too. Don't sleep on the airtime on it. Like, it's my number one. And combine that with Twisted Timbers, and like, I take that lineup easily over Darien Lake's lineup any day. Just those two coasters alone. Or actually, I take those two coasters alone over a lot of parks lineups. So now we talked about the rides, let's talk about the food. I kind of didn't eat anything here. My bad. I don't know, I'll eat next time I go, which is probably next year, but from what I heard, it's okay food, I guess. They have some good stuff in Jungle Expedition, which, speaking of Jungle Expedition, that place has some amazing theming. Like, it could be in Busch Gardens Williamsburg, and like, I mean, it wouldn't be as strong as some areas like Germany and France, but like, it'd fit in with like Festa Italia and stuff. Like, it's pretty good. Definitely the best themed Cedar Fair area I've been in. Behind maybe Blue Ridge Junction, but I even think this is more themed than that. The theming in the rest of the park, I mean, it's all right, but this place is just charming. Like compared to other Cedar Fair parks, it's got the singing mushrooms, which I really like. It's got a lot of gardens, a lot more than other Cedar Fair parks, in my opinion, from what I saw. So, I mean, it's a nice, charming park to walk around. Good atmosphere for sure. It looks clean. You can tell people like working here. So yeah, it's just a good time to be in this park. Operations, they're pretty solid, you know. The first day I was there, it was pouring rain in the middle of the day, so everything was running one train after that. So, I mean, it wasn't the fastest, but that being said, they didn't really need two trains. But the day it wasn't pouring rain, like, they were doing a pretty good job, I would say, especially Twisted Timber's crew, which I guess makes sense because it's the busiest ride. They need the best workers. But that being said, like, most of the rides do a pretty good job, I'd say. The only line I'd say watch out for is Flight of Fear. That thing can get pretty backed up, and Backlot I can see also got pretty backed up at one point, so watch out for those two. I think it's because the restraints aren't too accommodating for larger guests, but for flat rides, they don't have that much. Like, I'd even say Carowinds might have a better flat ride collection than this place. They've got a drop tower. I didn't do that. They have a starship called Berserker. Also didn't do that. Just because, like, I'd rather ride Dominator next door. So, like, I mean, they have an okay flat ride collection, but it's definitely nothing to shout at. For their water park, again, it looks pretty cool. Looks like a normal Cedar Fair water park, I guess. Again, I didn't go in it because most of my time was spent getting laps on Twisted Timbers and I-305, which, I mean, is fine. When you have those two coasters in your park, like, that, like, automatically makes you, like, almost a top 5 park for me. Like, on some days, I do think this is a top 5 park for me. A lot like other Cedar Fair parks, like Carowinds, they run stuff in the rain. I didn't get any rain rides besides Dominator because we went back to our hotel when it started raining. But yeah, they'll run stuff in the rain as long as there's no lightning. So I definitely like that about them. So that's always good. They also have a ton of hotels right across from the park. We stayed at one of those. That was really convenient. So yeah, overall, what would I rate King's Dominion? I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10, just because, you know, I'd give it like a 7.6 if it weren't for I-305 and Twisted Timbers, but, like, you have that strong of a 1-2 punch, like, you can take Six Flags Darien Lake, how crappy that park is, give it those two coasters, and suddenly it's one of the best parks I've been to. Like, those two can go a long ways, but the rest of the park's also pretty fun. So don't think you're going here just for those two coasters, although that's probably where most of your time's going to be spent. But anyways, let me know what you guys think of this place down in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.